Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
What is Sameday doing in Bulgaria and why is it relevant to partnerships? Watch this video to find out more.
Experience the future of convenience with modern Expo parcel lockers. Cutting-edge innovations that bring parcel delivery to a fundamentally new level. Follow the link in the description to find the best solution for your business.
Gary, have you been to Bulgaria?
I went on my first honeymoon to Bulgaria, to Sunny Beach back in 1988.
Zlote Piaski, I think it's called. Wow, incredible. Well, look, I've got a story that's not about Sunny Beach. It's actually about Kudos. Surprise, surprise. Our very good friends at Sameday, which is the logistics arm of eMAG Group, have started a partnership, apparently, with Bulgarian Post to use postal offices as Kudos for parcel drop-off and collection. It's not actually a new thing, Gary, because they've done this in the past with Romanian Post. And in a way, it's sort of flip side of what you guys are doing, where Quadient are offering locker services to Royal Mail. So this partnership thing is really beginning, I think, to take off. Do you have a view on it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also, I thought you were going to mention the UK Post Office. You're able to do Amazon services, Every, and DPD over the counter as well. So since the kind of slight separation between Royal Mail and Post Office in the last 10-year agreement, post offices have opened, the UK Post Office has opened themselves up for other services as well. Now, so there is definitely precedent for this. And I think it's actually quite a positive thing.
Gary, maybe it's worthwhile just explaining, because the UK viewers will probably know that the post office actually is not Royal Mail and vice versa. Maybe you could just give a very brief description so that people, understand it's a very specific situation in the UK.
This is probably the thing I explain the most often in my entire life. So the Royal Mail and Post Office and actually British Telecom were one organisation 30 years ago called the GPO, the General Post Office. And BT was the first business to fragment off, leaving Royal Mail and Post Office together.
BT being British Telecom.
Yeah, sorry. And then Royal Mail and Post Office sort of separated, I think, probably 2008. And Royal Mail is now a publicly traded PLC, subject to the takeover bid by Mr. Kretinsky that we've discussed a few times. And Post Office is basically a retail business that is owned by the state, owned, funded and supported by the state. So they are completely separate entities. Now, they have been kind of joined at the hip, if you like, up until a few years ago when they had a mutual exclusivity. The Post Office just sold Royal Mail products and Royal Mail only used Post Office as their outlet. In the last few years, all the gloves are off. So they're definitely free to take the partnerships that they want.
So here you have it. Everyone now knows the picture in the UK, but I think what is really interesting behind this story, I think as our American friends say, the backstory is that, partnership is really becoming a big deal. It's something that was frowned upon, and most posts traditionally would say, no, it's our network. We don't want to share it. We don't want to partner. It's our advantage. It's our fortress. My view, Gary, is it has to go this way. It has to go this way, both in terms of, let's say, PUDO postal office networks, also in terms of locker networks. Can you see this happening throughout Europe? We touched upon it in a video looking at lockers. What's your view, Gary?
Well, it's whether it's voluntary or compulsory. It could be that organisations are compelled to do this. There was postal deregulation in the UK. It was meant to be an EU-wide thing. Unfortunately, the UK was the only country that paid any attention to it, and that most of the other national posts are still very much monopolistic in their outlook and their behaviour. So will they kind of be forced to do it? One of these kind of like intellectual exercises that you think about is, imagine if the world didn't have something now, would it be invented? So, for example, if we only communicated electronically now, if we only used email, WhatsApp, chat, SMS, Instagram, these other ungodly things that I don't get involved with, if we had all of that, would somebody invent letter mail to supplement it? Would it be necessary to have letter mail alongside if everybody used electronic communication efficiently? And I think the answer is probably no. And for that reason, you can imagine a world where it doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist. It's definitely not Portugal in 2024, I can assure you. But somewhere else, somewhere in the future, it could exist. So therefore, these organisations have got to adapt in really fundamental ways to deal with not the 3-year plan or the 5-year plan or the 10-year government subsidy, but what the world will look like in 50 or 60 years from now.
I think it's a really good point, because historically the post office network was needed because of the mail service. That, is delicately speaking in dramatic decline. That's delicate version. But you're getting, I remember when I was still working for DPD Group, which is of course part of La Poste, you're getting small towns and villages in France where the post office disappeared and it was the center of local life. So, it's becoming a big deal. And can we find something that will allow that important retail point or meeting place, let's call it, to still exist? And honestly, the only way, Gary, I can see that happening is via partnerships where that point doesn't just serve post office or parcel type services, but is able to do other things.
I think the biggest risk to the post office in general, is not necessarily the loss of the postal products and so on. But in the UK, you used to have to go to the post office to collect your pension, to collect your benefits. If you were, living off state social security or whatever else, you used to have to go to the pension counter in the post office every Thursday with your book and collect your money. 20, 30 years ago, I can't remember when exactly, all of that became through direct to bank. We got all the money paid directly to bank. You instantly removed the main need for about a quarter of the population, a third of the population, to have to go to the post office ever, and cut the knees out of it. And village shops suffered because the post office was at the back. People would walk to the back of the shop, collect their pension, and shop on their way out to the front door. All of that went. So I think that was the very start of the erosion of this community heart of the post office that brought people together out of necessity to go and collect the weekly money that we're going to live off. So you take that out, and then the occasional visit now for a stamp or to post something isn't enough, I don't think, to really build a sustainable business.
We're doing a little bit of work with Polish Post, and surprise, in Poland, a lot of the pensions do still get delivered by the postie. But what would be interesting, Gary? Maybe our viewers could give some suggestions. Has anyone seen anything really cool that has been done with postal outlets to allow them to actually function, partnerships or other revenue streams? Because I think that would be really, really quite interesting. I know that in Finland there have been some strange and wonderful things done, but it would be great. Please comment below with any examples, and if you've got pictures, you can add them. When I say comment below, in LinkedIn primarily, because that's where we're able to respond most easily. And as usual, please, if you've liked this video, then please like, subscribe, helps us keep these videos free for you. Gary, I think this has been quite an interesting one. Let's see what pictures and ideas people bring forth, as it were. Thanks very much for being on the show today.
Happy to do it.
Thanks for watching this Last Mile Profits video. For more up-to-date last mile news and analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.